Hey, what's up guys? Controlled Cast here, bringing you an updated list to the top 5 decks of the upcoming September 1st format. The previous video has actually seen a good amount of views. In 2 weeks it's had over 1,000, which is, very surprising, but welcome. That was really, it was made before even real official speculations were released. It was very ill-informed, not by any fault of me or anything, there's nothing you can do about it, not knowing the list. But now that the list is out, I did want to do an updated list of my predictions for the top 5 of the September 1st format. So without further ado, guys, we'll get right into it. So at number 5, interestingly enough, I actually have a tie. Alright, I didn't want to do a tie top 6 thing. I would really tried hard not to do it, but as you'll see in a dual video that I actually had just uploaded, so go watch it. I'll post a link somewhere in the video. The first deck that is tied for top 5 or for number 5 I should say, is Harpies. Yes, you heard me correctly, Harpies. Yes, you also heard me correctly right now, September 1st, pre-Phoenix formation. The deck is insane. Alright. It has a definite weakness of bad hands. Inconsistency, I should say. But that's still minimal. Like, it's not as consistent as Evil Storm or as Prophecy will be. However, it's consistent enough. Excuse me. It's consistent enough, and with Hunting Ground being Hunting Ground, and there being no Heavy Storm or Trunade in this format, obviously there was a Trunade before, but there was kind of speculation of it coming back a little bit. But with no real heavy back row annihilation there, players are going to freely set 3, 4, 5 even, say go. And Hunting Ground really helps you get through that, because if you draw like a Hunting Ground and maybe an MST and a Harpie monster, right there, that's 2 pops. Now if you have an Egotist, that's 3. If you have an Egotist and a Chandler, that's 4. And then all of a sudden you're left with a full field, maybe 1 or 2 left in hand. They're left with maybe 1 in hand, 1 on board. Now that's straight plus in that's straight advantage to you, and you're going to keep that throughout the whole duel. That's the huge strength of Harpies. But I'm posting a deck profile and a duel video. I only got time to do 1 match tonight. I'm sure I'll put more up sooner or later. But, so go check those out, guys. See what I mean. In the match video, they were playing against Dragunity, which, in my opinion, is going to be not top 5, but just out of there. Maybe like 6th or 7th place in this next coming format, because it's very good. It's very fast in a format with, limited back row. Anyway, guys, that's enough on Harpies. Tied for number 5 with Harpies is Constellar. In my last video, I did talk about Constellar getting support. I was talking about the new Star Leech card, which I had read its effect, but I didn't see, I should say, that it was 2 photons or 2 whatever it is. It's not just 2 lights like Paladynamo. However, they lost nothing. Compulse going to 1 does not hurt them at all with Pleiades. Pleiades is just too good. Overlaying down 7 again. They don't need Compulse. It's like Harpies doesn't need Heavy. They don't need Compulse. So kind of in that aspect, that's where that balance is. Both Harpie and Constellar have amazing matchups against Evil Swarm. Good matchups, favorable matchups against Mermail, favorable matchups against just about anything that Synchro summons or Xyz summons, so, as they both do have their bouncers. But, I pretty much explained everything about Constellar in the previous video. All of that stands, it's a very good deck. But it's a bit, still in this format, I gotta say, it's a bit too slow to crack like top 3. For number 4, I have Bujin. Now in the previous video, I excluded Bujin. I claimed I didn't know much about it. Once I tested more, it would make my list most likely. Well, I went to Catskill Regionals Saturday the 24th. I did not play any Bujin, but whenever my matches would end early, I would go and watch, and usually it was between tables like 10 and 30, right in that area. So like top, but not like the top, was bujin, and you know these kids were tearing it up with it. It seems just incredibly consistent. If they don't have the solemn warning or judgment, well, now they won't have judgment anymore. But this was before September 1st format, but you know what I mean. If they can't stop Yamato, it's like it's uber consistent, and straight on consistency alone, I have to give it, you know, in top 5 because it's one of the most consistent decks that Konami's produced. Fairly, I should say. Dragon Rulers was consistent, but it was consistent because it was the most broken deck in Yu-Gi-Oh history. But you know that's a whole different video. So yeah, number 4, guys, we have bujin. At number 3, we have. I'm not really sure how to describe this other than Star Eater Turbo. I've seen 3 different variants of this. Dragon Ruler Plant variant. I've seen Dragon Ruler Deep Sea Diva, Malicious, E-Telly mixed in, and I've seen Zombies. Basically, all these synchro decks that are, a lot of them utilize the Dragon Rulers, the bigs. Not all of them do though, but the majority of them that I've seen that have actually done well have, done well in testing I should say, have utilized the Dragon Rulers. So I'm going to include this as a Dragon Ruler variant / Star Eater Turbo for number 3. I've seen the deck in play. It's very good. The only problem is it lacks consistency, and it's incredibly easy to side against. Game 1, it's going to be a difficult matchup for just about anybody short of Evil Swarms to really dominate this deck, have a very good matchup against it. Game 2 and 3, you know, it all depends on siding. At that point, it's all player skill. But this deck seems incredibly easy to side against, and for that, it's not top 2 or 1. Based on sheer explosiveness alone, I feel it's going to be by far the most explosive deck in the format. Like, hands down. If in the right hands. Now, if all the top players, you know, forget about the hype about it and, you know, go off and play something else, then you're going to get scrubs playing it and it's not going to see success. Don't hold me to that. If scrubs play it, it's not going to be good. But if good players are playing it, it's going to be incredibly explosive and incredibly good. You'll see tops with it. Number 2, I have Mermail. Mermail did not get hit as badly as it was originally predicted to be. Sphere to 1, and I gotta check the list, I think.
It's Diva.
Yeah, it hits Diva to 1 too. That's nothing to that deck. Diva is searchable. Sphere is searchable. I mean, it hurts at late game, but to be honest, in this format, there might not be a late game with Mermail. It is one of the more explosive decks, and it has consistency, and for that, I have it at number 2. And number 1, as the most consistent deck of this format, period. And having the best matchups against numbers 2, 3, and depending on who goes first, 4 on this list. And because, well, it's personally one of my favorite decks of all time. I gotta give number 1 to Evil Swarm. Ophion set 5 Sego is game because there's no heavy now, so there's no fear. You have to open incredibly well with any other deck to even stand a chance of getting through that, and even there you have to hope for a misplay or 2 from the Evil Swarm player, which, granted, knowing a lot of Evil Swarm players personally that misplay all the time, that's not too far of a stretch. But, you know, myself and other, you know, good Evil Swarm players aren't going to misplay too often. It's a very, I want to say, once you learn the deck, it's a pretty easy deck to run, you know, misplay-wise. So, I have to give it to them. They're so consistent. You get rid of an Ophion, they're just going to Infection or just already have their caster, Heliotrope player, caster whatever play, or they're going to have a Kirkion. If you get down to no cards on field, no cards in hand with them, so you're just doing straight grind game, they're going to win, period. Because they're going to get a Kirkion. They're going to get some way to get a Kirkion or a Thunderbird that you can't get rid of, and they're just going to make another Ophion, and it's incredible how just consistent this deck is, and for that alone, well, not that alone, I should say, for that is a huge reason of straight consistency. Still, in my opinion, the best boss monster in all of Yu-Gi-Oh! Ophion. It's so legit. Like, decks are literally built around getting rid of it. That's how good it is. And it poses a threat to any deck. So, guys, Evil Swarm number 1. Just to do a quick recap here, we have a tie between Harpie and Constellar at number 5, Bujin at number 4, the Dragon Ruler Star Eater Turbo at number 3, Mermail, regardless of Mono or Gen X. At that point, I believe Gen X, real quick here, I believe Gen X is going to be a little bit better, combined with Mono, maybe possibly one Squall. I wouldn't go any more than that, and I wouldn't go more than one lead, so kind of a variant between the two, because you need that Undyne pitch infantry play to get rid of Ophions. Anyway, that at number 2, so both Mermail variants. And then number 1, Evil Swarms, hands down, in my opinion, just looking at the information I have right now, Evil Swarms are going to be the best deck of this format. They're going to be the tier 1, the top deck, the deck to beat. I've witnessed it, guys. Catskill Regional, first one of 3 of the first regionals of the regional season. Top tables all day, Evil Swarm. It's incredible, guys. It's ridiculous how incredibly derpy that deck is. Like, I was watching it was table like 3, and my match had already finished, and some guy had, here, what was it? He had Safe Zone, Safe Zone, Safe Zone, Key Beetle, Ophion, Ophion. And I'm not 100% sure what was on what, but yeah, it was locked down. He was playing against Elemental Dragons, and it was just GG. So guys, that's it for the video. Thanks for watching. Thanks for watching the update. As always, like, comment, subscribe, and real quick, guys, I got a shout out to Team Ruby Pony. All right, guys. Any shout outs you guys want, just comment. I'm glad to do them. That makes me feel special to make you guys feel special. You know, I'll repeat the last one. Tell your wife, tell your kids, because we're subbing everybody out here. Sub me, I'll sub you guys. It's a free sub for sub. If I haven't gotten around to subbing you yet, I promise I will. I'm going to do that actually right now. So Control Chaos, signing out.